Hey, good morning. Welcome back. I'm Bill. It's Pirate Solutions Forestry. And as you can see behind me, we got some big poplar logs in yesterday. If you didn't see the video, you can watch the video of the medevac log trailer trying to unload these monsters. I got to move them this morning. So it's kind of been a rainy day here in New England. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get up to today. I got some customers coming to pick up some product. Show you the 4x4s we cut yesterday out of white oak, doing some more testing on the Norwood bands and the Norwood guides. But got these 10-foot 6 white oak 4x4s. Actually, a couple of them are a little bit bigger. Going out to a woodworking customer, and he texted me this morning, asked me when he could come by and get them. I said, why don't you come out and take a look at them? Let's find out how much of it's going to be good for you and usable. And I got to see if I have to cut any more. But this morning we got to get these poplar logs moved so I can regain my area here and have a place to put those 4x4s down on the bunks. These are pretty large logs. These are going to be fairly heavy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the 650 on them and put them up in my poplar pile out back, and we'll take it from there. Most of these are going to have to be chainsaw milled, I believe. This one might fit on the mill. I'm not sure. This one I think is too big. So some of these are going to have to be chainsaw milled. I'll probably end up either selling these logs or slabbing them with chainsaws and selling them to my slab guy. I'll probably post up the slabs in the meantime, but most likely I'll just end up moving them to my slab guy. He's got a big warehouse and he's more equipped to sell slabs. But I probably will post them up. But most of the people that come for slabs around here, if they want them dry, I just send them to my slab guy because he gets them kiln dried and everything else, which eventually we'll do here, but we just don't do it right now. So it's easier to move them to him, and he pays a reasonable price for them. So it's simpler. But anyway, we're going to get to moving these things. I'm going to pause you guys while I get you inside the Bobcat, and we will. So, well, let me show you what we're dealing with aside from these couple that you can see in the front here. So I got another really big one here, and then that one on the back top side doesn't look as big around, but it's long. This one's a really big, heavy log right here. This one's probably close to 20 feet long. That's going to be a pain to move. I do have a whole bunch of cedar there I got to get moved too. And also, one of the reasons I have to get them moved is that I've got a white oak in the back here that I might have to mill for the customer whose 4x4s are on the mill. When he picked these up, this one was the heaviest. This one was the one that he could barely get off. He had to take it off in sections, beat the crap out of his trailer. I don't think that it's going to be a problem for the 650. And we'll get to it. So let's go ahead and pause you guys and we'll get you inside the machine. All right, so we're in the machine. I'll get you a view out the front here in a second. I don't want to mess with the camera mount because it's kind of got to all be tight so you don't shake loose and start turning and things like that. So you're going to have to deal with me being off center a little bit. I'm interested to see how, close the windows might make the sound better. Interested to see how the mics work with the machine running. So hopefully I don't back over my tripod. Let's get her fired up, and I'm going to have to go for fuel in this thing today. I know you're bouncing around a little bit. I think it stabilizes a little when we get it running at high RPMs. Yeah. So we'll bounce your fuel around the other way, and we'll get into this pile and get these out of here. So this machine is, if you're not familiar with a 650 Bobcat, it's a 9,600-pound machine, 75 horsepower. If you're ever wondering what, if you're struggling with what you can move, I got to drag this one up from that underneath the heavy one here. You know, if you're struggling with your farm tractor as far as what you can move for your sawmill, there's no possible way that I can recommend a Bobcat, a skid loader like this high enough. They can be tough on the ground, but I will tell you that for running a lot of skid loaders that have wheels, track machine is the way to go. It does tear up the ground a little bit. You kind of, at the end of the night, you kind of got to run around and do some grade fixing and stuff. But with the weight in the back of these track machines, their lifting power is unparalleled, and they don't have the bounciness of the wheel loaders, so wheel skid loaders. So I'm gonna, to my right here, you can see my finger on it. To my right here is poplar logs. We're gonna put these over there for now. Try and fit the similar length ones together, and that longer one's going to have to go around kind of the other side of the pile. It just won't fit in here. So I'm not sure what this log weighs, but I'll guarantee you that it weighs 3,000 probably, or right in that range. The big one's probably going to weigh closer to 5. The big one's going to be a good test. That's the one we're going to grab next. I think this machine will pick it up. I know it will, because I have had to take logs off his trailer that he couldn't get off his trailer before. And he did get this one off, so I don't have a doubt that this will pick it up. This is about, now I'm going to gather that this is about max. You know, we'll see how easy it picks it up, but I'm going to guess this is right around weight limit for this Bobcat, so it'll actually be a good test. Just going to get it dragged kind of out from underneath. So I'm a little weight heavy on the left side. I'll put it down, just kind of try and grab it over a little more. Some sort of weird block of wood in my we're going to get it detached from the other logs here. Yeah, we got it. So it's making me tippy a little bit. We're just going to get the log back on the carriage. It doesn't want to roll over right now. I'm just picking it up high. There we go. And this is rock solid, you know, rock solid with this machine. As long as I get it into this carriage like that. You guys saw the size of this log. This is probably you know, I could do the log calculator on it, but I'm guessing a 5,000 pound log. I'm carrying it around like nothing right now. I got it a little bit off center. It's kind of a little bit weight heavy on the right hand side now after I moved over, but still no problem. I'm not even pushing the machine. I'm just bouncing in my old track box right now, sorry. We're going up a pretty good hill here. Try not to drag the dirt on the right hand side. Put this one right in the front here. I have to leave myself enough room to be able to get other logs through here, so I kind of got to offset this one a little bit to the left. And really the reason I'm showing this, I don't like channels that just show off their equipment. I'm not trying to show off, I'm just going to lift this up so I can see what's going on. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but this up over the cab now. This big log. I don't really, it's not that I don't like is the wrong term, and it's holding perfectly steady. I'm not trying to show off my equipment. What I'm trying to do is show you what you need. You know, I think that a lot of people that get into sawing lumber and running sawmills, they will tend to, I think one of the methods, or not the methods, but and not really thought process, but the hope is that you're going to be able to buy a sawmill. You know, you're going to go out there, you're going to do your research as far as price goes, you're going to try to get a good deal, you're going to be able to get into it for X amount of dollars, and then when you get the sawmill, if you spend on the lower end, yeah, you find out pretty quickly that either A, the sawmill doesn't do what you want it to do, or B, that you have a hard time just putting, that you can't put stuff on it. So then you got to get yourself into a tractor. And if you go on the low end of the tractors, so you go out and you can get your deal on a Kubota or something like, and I shouldn't use Kubota as an example. Let's just say, I say that because they're popular. Let's say you get into like a 35 horsepower machine, and now you're going to make your mark on the world, and you got these trees that you took down once upon a time, and you run out in the woods and you go to pick up a log and you find out you can't pick it up. And that's a real problem, especially if, I'm not saying this is your deal, but especially if you've made promises based on the amount of money that you've spent. Let's just say maybe that money, is taxing you out a little bit, like it is for all of us, as far as how much you can spend and whether you're on a budget. And your illusions of what you're going to make when you go out there and you start selling this lumber, you start telling maybe the other decision maker, let's just say maybe the other decision maker is your husband, and you're a female sawyer, and you want to go out there and you're going to spend this money, and you say, well, I'm going to cut these slabs, and these slabs are going for $1,000 a piece, and we'll make the money back in a month, and this, that, and the other thing. Sorry about the bouncing. I'm bouncing my own track marks now. There's not much I can do about it, but I think that just lifting the logs is pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, you get the whole thing put together, and you can't lift the logs up. And I understand that could be a little bit of a stressful situation when you laid out money maybe that you didn't want to lay out, or that taxes you out financially, and now all of a sudden you're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get these logs on the mill? Or my mill's not big enough to cut them, or any of those things. Or we went through our 5 sawmill bins and now we don't have any more, and new sawmill bins, a new box is going to cost us a few $100s, and I think that is these are real world problems when you get into sawmill. And I think that I'm probably going to do a video on what can, I've talked about it in the past, but my past videos end up being past videos. Let's just be honest about it. I have the capability of milling anything here with a chainsaw, so I don't mind bringing the big stuff in. These logs will not fit on the mill, and they're not big enough. It's not big enough to do them. But I have the capability of milling them with a chainsaw, so they are useful to me. I think before I grab that huge, this is like a 20-footer. It's pretty big around. That's going to be heavy too. I think I got to get some of the cedar moved first. I don't know, maybe I can grab this log and pull it out to the side. We'll try it. I don't know if it's going to want to slide. It's so heavy on the right. Try not to get these cedars filthy because they're pretty clean. I can just make one for my tracks and then get in here. If I can pick this end up, maybe I can get that. It doesn't want to slide. I'll have to get the cedar out of the way. These are nice cedar logs. I don't want to get them filthy. Sneak in here. It's kind of, they don't belong here anyway, so. But I think it's a big problem that, or kind of an enigma as to what are you going to be able to do? What are know you can't see. Maybe I'll tilt you guys down. You can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing multiple. I'll show you multiple cedar logs at one time to kind of maximize the trip. I'll take these up top, put them with my other cedar. You know, how much is this going to cost to be able to do what I want to do? Now, if you are just going to mill 2x4s and 2x6s for a structure, 2x10s, 2x12s, maybe some 6x6s, most mills will do that. That's really what these mills are designed to do. This is kind of my cedar pile up there. And I am going to have to rip it apart later because I got to get some white cedar out of here. Try not to tear up my wood chips. So I'm just kind of doing a little 3-point turn getting out of here. My HD36 version 2 Norwood is the place that mill shines is cutting dimensional lumber. It's not a slabbing mill. It's not made to slab big logs. And I could very easily have just said, no, those logs are too big. And you're going to have to probably do that. Especially if you get in with the tree services and they're bringing you stuff, if you don't have the capabilities to cut those big logs, you're probably better off just saying no. You know, I'd love to have them. They're gorgeous. They're free, but I can't cut them. So you don't want them taking up your yard. Now maybe in the hopes, just off center. Maybe in the hopes that someday you'll maybe be able to sell them. Or something like that, you know, if you want to hoard them. But they do take up space, and that's a consideration how much space you do have to around your yard. You don't want to be being taken up with logs that you can't cut and logs that aren't going to be useful to you. I struggled with that. I struggle with that myself. Well, there's a lot of someday logs here. I'll cut them someday. And I actually do kind of get to the point where I actually probably should say no a little bit more on some stuff. But in the same respect, when the tree guys are giving me logs, they don't have to cut up. Because I'm appreciative of what they're doing for me, I'm more than happy to take them. You know, this saves them a trip to the dump and having to pay to get rid of them. And that's the case in this poplar. This poplar's not firewood in my area. So these logs would end up, either they'd have to market them and move them to somebody not knowing where they are. These guys are in the middle of their day doing stuff. Or they'd have to cut them up and throw them away in the dump, which they have to pay for. So, you know, I am doing them a service and they're doing me a service, and I take that seriously. You know, I don't want to add time to their day, so most of the time I'm just going to take them. And but there is definitely what you're going to find out is if you do that a lot, you're going to end up being space challenged and end up with a lot of logs sitting around that you can't do anything with. So, you know, that is part of the consideration. But the tractor part, I think, is important because, you know, obviously, depending on what type of homestead you have or land, you know, you want it to be as multifunction as you can. And I don't think that you can get more multifunction than a Bobcat. You know, you can get or any skid loader, depending on what you want to know what your brand loyalty or anything. But it's true. Oh, it's too big to go in there. See if I can flip this one over the top. You know, any skid steer, it's got, you know, these things have attachments for days. Now the attachments do cost money, there's no doubt, but if you need it to be flexible, most skid steer companies, their skid steers are pretty flexible, especially You know, if you do have a quick attach like I do, being able to quick attach to all your attachments is a lifesaver. It saves you tons of time being able to go from bucket to forks to bucket to forks in just a second. All right, let's try the big one here. This is a big one. Let's see, I'm gonna make a good guess. It's gonna be way left heavy, I think. So maybe I'll try to grab it right here. I'm gonna tilt you guys down. Maybe you get you a better view of what I'm doing. And you have to kind of take that into consideration when you're looking at your overall budget, what you're going to spend to do what you want to do. Because yes, the money's there. Let's see. It's not there. Get a little bit more. Oh, good. It rolled off a little bit. Try and get a little bit more to the right here. I have a feeling this is going to be a weird log, weight distribution wise. Even if I get it here, I think it might go the other way. Yeah, it's right teetering on the edge. This one's going to be a tough one to negotiate my way up the hill here. This is a big log. I'm going to have to snake around all kinds of stuff, not run into shit with the sides. But anyway, let's get you back and forward so that you don't bounce around so much and you kind of get a better view of what I'm doing. But all these things end up in your consideration for your budget. So if you think that you're going to go out there, oh, Kate's here. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to pause you guys 1 second. Mama's out here. I don't know what she's doing. Well, maybe she's just letting the dog. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause you guys 1 second. She got the dog out for a walk here. He's, for some reason, I don't know if there was something in the yard last night, but this big, burly king of an animal, blackmouth cur, who would protect his mother from a grizzly bear, for some reason was acting scared to go out this morning. Standing at the back door, staring out the door, and wouldn't go out and go to the bathroom. So she got him out here trying to get him to go to the bathroom. And they're kind of in my way, to be honest with you. They're kind of walking up the trail to the back here. So I don't want him to get curious. Just get him out of the way. I'll leave the machine off for a second so you guys can hear me better. But so I think that a lot of people, matter of fact, I think the vast majority of people, based on the mills that they buy and what they look at, I think they think, well, I'm going to get into this for a few grand. And to a point, that's true. You can go out and you can buy a $3,000 mill that'll cut dimensional lumber all day. Okay, they're kind of getting out of my way, so I'm going to fire up while we're doing this here. I think you can get into I'll flip the background forward so I'm not off center. You can get into a mill for $3 grand. And a mill that'll cut dimensional lumber all day. But if you think that's the end of the road, that's just not the case. I mean, as soon as you start to burn through bands and stuff like that, you'll find out quick. If you're doing small logs, you can probably get away with moving them around with somewhat, trying not to hit the sawmill with the end of the log right now. Lift it up over my little cedar tree here. If you're doing small logs, you can probably get around, like skidding them around with a truck, or rolling them around, or moving them with a small tractor. But the problem with small logs is there's not a lot of money in small logs as far as walking up a big hill here. As far as yield, return on investment, even if you're getting them for free, there's just not a lot of money in them. So if you're looking to pay for your sawmill, you are going to have to get into some more decent sized logs that are going to pay you back for cutting them, or you're just going to be cutting small logs all day and then trying to sell dimensional lumber for $1 a board foot or 75 cents a board foot. And that's a tough way to end up paying for your sawmill, to be honest with you. And that's your ability to go bigger than that is going to rely not only on what you have for a machine to move around, but your budget too. So if you think that you're going to get into it budget friendly, I think that your number has to be bigger than that's going to roll down this hill. I just don't want this log to be unstable here. It's on something. So I think just putting a little pressure on it. I'll stuff it in the ground a little bit. This log rolls down the hill, it could hit the mill. I don't want that to happen. I need to put something in front of it to keep it from doing that. So let's see if we can find a piece of firewood over here. Maybe I'll turn it sideways so it can. It's going to roll down the hill, no doubt. Now I'm probably going to get the wifely advice here in a minute. Why don't you just do something? Oh, there goes my fuel alarm. That's better. That's not going to roll down the hill now. So out of here, we're going to have to kill it and go for fuel. So I think, like, you know, I think it's cliche, but I think to say that you take your budget and double it. So if you think you're going to do it for $3 grand and allow yourself 6, if you think you're going to do it for 10 grand, allow yourself 20. That's not going to include buying a machine outright, but maybe it can get you in for a down payment or something like that, some financing money. Machine that you could move logs with, and if you want to do it for a business, then I would suggest getting yourself the biggest machine you can afford, and it will pay you back. So I'm way low on fuel. I'm going to have to fuel up, get my day started here, and we should get to see some of those big logs get moved. You know, this machine moved them like nothing. Piece of cake, up and down a hill, around a corner. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Probably going to do a finance section. She's coming over now to talk to me. So I got to sign off. So for now, Inspired Solutions out.